Hey everyone, Fred here. Okay, so this video is all about how teachers can stand out on LinkedIn. A lot of us are looking into moving away from teaching, and on this video, I'm going to show you some insights that I've learned over the years in my own journey in looking for positions outside of education, and they work. I talked to a lot of other people and a lot of consultants and also a lot of recruiters. And here are the first steps what you can do in to learn how to stand out on LinkedIn. So there are about three things. Concepts is really to tell your story, build your brand, and be visible. And there's one more bonus at the end I'm going to share with you. Okay, so let's get started. Oop, a little too far. Excuse me. Okay, first of all, so why LinkedIn? So LinkedIn has been around for a long time. It's owned by Microsoft, but it was its own app, its own platform before. It's used by professionals throughout the world. You can find a lot of old colleagues. You can find a lot of old connections that way, and they share their professional life on there. Their positions, their education, and a lot of other cool things that they're doing, how they build their expertise, and they want to share that with others. One is just purely for looking for connections, either looking for new positions, new opportunities, and also new partnerships. That's what it's used for. Now, if you haven't created a profile or it's been a while, maybe back in 2015, 2010, that you created a LinkedIn profile, it's time to update it, time to create a new one. Okay? So please make sure, this is a little self plug, please make sure you follow us and hit the like button. It'll help us tremendously. All right, move on. So the first part is telling your story. The way to stand out is you have to tell your story. You're unique. You are a person who has experienced many things, similar things to other people, but you do things your own way. You experience things your own way. You process things your own way. So it's important to share those important skills, those events, all the expertise and insights you've learned over the years, and share them. Now, why your story? It's because people love stories. That's how we make connections, real connections with people, ideas, and so on. So it's important to tell your story. Example here, I know you're transitioning from teaching to maybe the into instructional design or project management or so on. You want to transform those words we learn in teaching, in our teaching, everyday teaching, like engaging, lesson planning, change that up into more of the business world jargon and lingo. Okay, so instead of saying create a lesson plan for your students, you would say you create a learning experience for your learners. You analyzed and implemented research based methodologies in your decision making. Okay, related with that, when you do tell your story, you're building your brand. Now, what does building your brand mean? Well, it's what others say about you. That's what it is. It's basically your reputation. You want to share what you're good at. Tell us, tell the reader who you want to attract or get attention from. Tell them what you're interested in and how you're unique. And remember, you are unique. Yes, I probably create a lesson plan that's similar to how you create a lesson plan, but there are other things I bring in and things you bring in that's unique to you. Okay? Like my wife, she's also a teacher. She uses less pop culture. I love pop culture. So I use a lot of movies like the Marvel cinematic universe. My wife is a little more straight laced. She doesn't like that. She likes to do things her way, and that's fine, but the lesson and objectives are the same. So, you want to be, if you're fun loving, talk about what fun you infuse in your learning experience, your own, when you design learning experiences. Okay? So, remember, no one can do exactly what you do. The next thing is be visible. You have to be visible no matter how good you are, no matter how much expertise and insight you have. It doesn't matter if no one can find you. You have to be findable. So, what does that mean in LinkedIn? In LinkedIn, you have to change your profile settings. It's very similar to Facebook and Instagram and so on. But in LinkedIn, you can control how things can be shown to people. Now, you got to be mindful though. Okay? Be mindful is that maybe if you are you are connected to your principal, your boss, your supervisor, assistant principal, and so on. You may not want them to see that you are looking, and I suggest you don't do that. Excuse me. I suggest you don't. You got to be mindful in not showing your activity to your immediate supervisors or assistant principals. Okay, so the way to do that, what I've done is that I went into the profile, and under me, I went to settings and privacy, and I went to visibility, and you'll see it's marked in red the different choices that you can control. Okay, so make choices that you are comfortable with. So the point is of this though is to be visible so others can find you. Think about it this way. Be visible so the people who need you can find you. Now here's the bonus. I did the last three. Here's the bonus. Okay. You have to make the person or the people who are reading your LinkedIn profile, who are skimming and scrolling your LinkedIn profile, you have to make them feel something. Now, this quote by Dr. Maya Angelou sums it up perfectly. I've learned that people, let me try that again. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So when you design, and I'm talking about when you create your profile, okay, and update it with your headlines and so on, and there'll be future videos about that. Try to elicit some kind of feeling. You want them to be curious about you. You want them to be enamored with you. You want them to be intrigued about you, and so on. That's what you want to do. So you have to do it in a way when you design your LinkedIn profile that will attract people. And there are clues on how to do that. All right. And that will be in an upcoming video on how to attract other people. Okay. So I'm going to this back a little bit. Okay. So we talked about why LinkedIn. You have to tell your story. So you may have to get your story straight. Build your brand, or in other words, your reputation, and be visible. Those are the three main things that you want to get started on your LinkedIn profile. And this will guide you. Make them, who's ever scrolling, whoever is scanning, you want them to make them feel something when they see what you're all about. All right. I hope this video was very helpful for you. If you have any comments, please comment below. We would love to hear from you. See you soon.